Welcome to New Horizon Channel, your trusted source for the most current and detailed geopolitical updates. Today we delve into a pressing issue that has caught the world's attention: the escalating tensions in the Middle East. We're going to provide you with an in-depth analysis, shedding light on the situation in Israel, Egypt, and Jordan. Let's begin by understanding the recent warning issued by the National Security Council of Israel. Please stay tuned for a comprehensive analysis of the situation. On October 21st, the National Security Council of Israel issued a warning, urging its citizens to leave Egypt, including the Sinai Peninsula and Jordan, due to increasing tensions in the region. This comes as a result of the conflict in Gaza between Israel and Hamas, which led to protests in the Middle East and Muslim-majority countries. Israel also advised its citizens to avoid staying in certain countries. In response to the escalating tensions, the Israeli military announced its plans to increase airstrikes on Gaza and prepare for the next phase of the conflict. They called for the residents of Gaza to evacuate to ensure their safety. These developments occurred while Israel tightened security measures around its embassy in Cyprus. The chief of the Israeli Defense Forces, H. Levy, announced that Israeli forces will advance into Gaza to undertake a mission to destroy the infrastructure of Hamas. On the same day, various Israeli military commanders visited frontline units to assess their combat readiness. The IDF Chief of Staff, H.J. Halevi, stated that they would enter Gaza, where the enemy has made extensive preparations. The mission will be conducted professionally with the aim of neutralizing Hamas's human resources and infrastructure. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has resulted in numerous casualties and raised concerns about a potential regional conflict. On the 21st of October, Israel declared that it would cease targeting Gaza once the ground operation was completed and Hamas was defeated. Israel would no longer bear responsibility for the daily life in Gaza, which means that, in the future, people in Gaza would not be allowed to enter or work in Israel. Israel's plan to eliminate Hamas involves 3 stages, with the first phase underway. It includes aerial attacks followed by ground actions to destroy infrastructure and eliminate specific targets. The IDF has released images of live fire drills involving a large number of tanks and troops near the Gaza border. Over 300,000 reserve soldiers have been called up. Simultaneously, rockets were launched towards Israel, prompting the IDF to respond with artillery fire. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, approximately 1.6 million people, equivalent to 60% of Gaza's population, have been displaced as a result of the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel. The tensions persist as the Palestinian Authority's forces released the first group of hostages on October 21st. Hamas announced its intention to release 2 more hostages for humanitarian reasons, but Israel rejected this proposal. Amidst the turmoil, reports suggest that the United States and Israel are engaged in confidential discussions regarding the future of Gaza. According to undisclosed sources, a scenario is being considered to establish a temporary government, with support from the Soviet Union and various Arab nations. These discussions are in their early stages, and there's no guarantee that neighboring countries will follow through. Additionally, it's reported that the U.S. government and European countries are pressuring Israel to postpone their ground assault on Gaza in order to buy time for secret negotiations to rescue hostages held by Hamas. While the negotiations with Hamas, which the U.S. and the European Union consider a terrorist organization, are sensitive and may not succeed, there are some indications that Hamas might agree to release at least some of the abducted civilians from the October 10th raid without requiring corresponding actions from Israel. After initially opposing the delay of the large-scale military campaign in Gaza, Israel has shown a more restrained approach under U.S. pressure in recent public statements, indicating a potential shift in their strategy to minimize civilian casualties. Hamas has detained over 200 hostages in Gaza, including dozens of U.S., British, French, and citizens of other countries. On October 20th, Hamas announced the release of an American woman and her daughter in response to efforts by Qatar, Israel, and the U.S. Subsequently, these individuals were confirmed to be free. U.S. President Joe Biden expressed gratitude for the continuous day-and-night efforts to free American hostages held by Hamas, and praised the cooperation between Qatar and Israel in this endeavor. The Qatari Foreign Ministry referred to this as a breakthrough, and stated that they would continue dialogue with both Israel and Hamas, with hopes that these efforts would lead to the release of all civilian hostages of various nationalities. On October 21st, following a meeting of the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Qatar's Foreign Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani, Qatar affirmed its commitment to coordinate with the U.S. and international partners to facilitate the release of the hostages held by Hamas and de-escalate the situation in Gaza. The White House acknowledged Qatar's efforts and the release of 2 American hostages held by Hamas on the evening of October 20th. However, the Israel Defense Forces spokesperson stated that the number of hostages held by Hamas had risen to 210, indicating that this might not be the final count. The U.S. and its allies have sent several top leaders and officials to the region to demonstrate their support for Israel. Nevertheless, in private discussions, Washington has also cautioned Israel against prolonging the conflict. A NATO defense minister speaking to CNN emphasized that Israel's allies fully respect its right to combat Hamas, but advised caution, highlighting the need for a strategic perspective beyond immediate military action. U.S. officials remain concerned that a major offensive could increase tensions in the region and provide an opportunity for other actors to become involved, potentially requiring U.S. intervention. Prime Minister Netanyahu's government has expressed its intent to make efforts to free the hostages. The United States is determined to remove Hamas from its control over the Gaza Strip, which it has held for nearly 20 years. A high-ranking U.S. official told CNN that one of the benefits of President Biden's visit to Israel is to buy time, as Israel won't escalate tensions in Gaza during his visit. This delay allows Israel to plan its strategy better and not react impulsively. Jonathan Peacock, a former senior Middle East analyst, stated that it's good news that Israel used this time to avoid an immediate military campaign. He credited President Biden for helping to de-escalate the situation, despite facing challenges from U.S. sanctions and Western pressure. Meanwhile, Russia is strengthening its energy ties with countries like Pakistan. Russia recently signed an agreement with Pakistan to supply liquefied natural gas, LNG. Pakistan is diversifying its energy sources and imported Russian LNG in response to increasing energy demand. The Russian embassy in Pakistan announced the first LNG shipment, marking a significant shift in their bilateral relationship. Pakistan's energy demand is rising, and it produces only a fraction of the required oil domestically. Most of its oil needs are met through imports, mainly from Gulf countries. The experts suggest that Russia's crude oil, though competitively priced, poses technical challenges for Pakistan's refining infrastructure. Therefore, Pakistan might need to invest heavily in building facilities to process Russian crude oil. However, political and financial obstacles, primarily due to Western sanctions against Russia over the Ukraine conflict, hinder trade between countries like Pakistan and Russia. Experts also express concerns about the payment systems involved in such trade. While the West tries to limit Russia's global oil market access, it's clear that nations like Pakistan are seeking to secure their energy needs. This move indicates that efforts to restrict Russia's oil exports have limitations. As the geopolitical landscape shifts, we're seeing the energy sector become a key playing field. On one hand, we have the U.S. trying to curb Hamas's control over Gaza, while maintaining a delicate balance with Israel. On the other, Russia is extending its energy influence to countries like Pakistan. Despite facing Western sanctions and technical challenges, the first shipment of Russian LNG to Pakistan marks a significant shift in their bilateral ties. Now, why is this important? It's because in the face of increasing energy demands, nations are looking beyond traditional alliances to secure their needs. It also indicates that efforts to restrict Russia's oil exports have limitations. In the next scene, we will delve into another major player in this global energy chessboard, China. But before we move on, if you're finding this content valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos. Stay tuned. On October 21st, in the Energy Business Forum held in Beijing, Russia and China witnessed a significant milestone in their energy cooperation. Both countries solidified their commitment to working together, marking an important step in their bilateral relations. Chinese Vice Premier Ding emphasized the need for further energy cooperation, stressing that both sides should actively develop infrastructure links in the energy sector, enhance collaboration in renewable energy and low-carbon development, and ensure the stability and connectivity of global energy markets. Over 500 delegates participated in the forum, including political representatives, major businesses from Russia and China, experts from various industries and scientists. Igor Sechin, the head of the Russian energy conglomerate Rosneft, highlighted the forum's importance, pointing out that over 45% of trade between Russia and China is now conducted through participating enterprises. He also underlined Russia's goal to strengthen cooperation with China, not only in energy, but also in technology, equipment supply, and investment in similar energy projects. Alexander Novak, Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, expressed confidence in the potential for increased energy supply to China. He predicted a 17% increase in energy exports from Russia to China in 2023 compared to the previous year. The Energy Business Forum was organized under the auspices of the Federal Agency for Natural Resources and Environmental Protection of the Russian Federation and the State Energy Administration of the People's Republic of China in collaboration with Rosneft and CNPC. Furthermore, the organizers announced that the 6th Russia-China Energy Business Forum would take place in Russia in 2024. Maxim Oreshkin, the Russian Minister of Economic Development, mentioned that the process of de-dollarization in Russia-China trade is nearing completion. According to data from the Russian Ministry of Economic Development, the Chinese yuan has surpassed the US dollar as the preferred currency for imports from China to Russia in 2022. In the first half of 2023, the average daily trading volume of the Chinese yuan on the Moscow exchange reached nearly 200 billion rubles, equivalent to $2 billion US dollars, a 100-fold increase from early 2022. The growing popularity of the Chinese yuan reflects Russia's efforts to reduce its reliance on currencies of unfriendly nations, particularly those that have imposed sanctions. Moscow has repeatedly stated that the US dollar and the euro have been compromised due to restrictions placed on Russia and has expressed its lack of trust in these currencies.